when you worked with the Trump admin, where were you? In which department?
So I was in the Department of the Interior. It's actually a little bit like you in that I know you have a kind of varied professional background. I have in most of my graduate training is actually in environment and resource policy, and that's
Ah,
what I did at Hoover. And so I was essentially managing a 10,000 person bureaucracy in the Interior Department, overseeing the National Park Service and the Fish and Wildlife Service.
did you have
Um,
anything to do with the Presidio Trust?
what about the Presidio Trust?
Were they under your
Yeah,
umbrella?
I mean, I think they would have been. I didn't deal as much on the park side. I was more doing the fish and wildlife side.
Trump
But
put me on the Presidio Trust about a year before he left office,
ah,
and I certainly got to see the inside of the monster. I couldn't believe what was going on in there in the museum, and I used to go to these meetings. I was very pleasant. I'm extremely able to be civil and diplomatic when I need to be, but I could not believe the the twisted nature of things I saw there. And the minute Biden won, I was told to resign. No other president in American history had ever fired all of the previous administration's appointees other than Biden. You talk about fascism. It
yeah,
occurred on day one from the Bidenites.
yeah. Well, no, it's funny you mentioned that because President Trump put me on a board as I was leaving the administration, and similar sort of thing happened, and it was actually pretty clearly unconstitutional. And in fact, we fought it, and we sort of fought it on too narrow grounds, and we got them to kind of acknowledge that what they did was illegal, and so they fired us in a slightly different way that I still think that we shouldn't have done, but it just
They
wasn't.
fired you from where?
So I was on the National Board for Education Sciences. It was basically going to be overlooking education research and
And
policy.
you had several more years to go on the appointment, correct?
Yeah, no, I absolutely would have. It would have extended beyond
And
the
normally, a new
administration.
presidential administration honors the prior appointees and
Right.
lets the term run out and then replaces them. But the Bidenites came along and purged every Trump appointee on every board across the board.
Sure. Absolutely. That's just what they did.
And that's out of the Soviet playbook.
Yeah.
I
So I
want to
mean,
go
we
to
have
Biden. I want to go to Biden. You know, everyone's painting him as some kind of, he's still sort of a centrist. He's more
yeah.
like a Soviet operative than anything else, Jeremy, isn't he?
Yeah, well, he's almost like Brezhnev to me. I mean, in the
Wow.
same time, in that it was like, Brezhnev, and I remember this from my youth. You were obviously an adult for this time, but he kind of represented late Soviet decay, and I look at Biden as kind of a a picture of late American leftist regime decay.